What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Coach Smook, back with another Keys to Consider. And this is going to be a little different one because it's the off season and we have some big things to talk about. But this is something that I want everybody to consider when we're talking about Coach Saban's start at Alabama and the setup we're seeing for Coach Deboer. Lock in. So Alabama Nation, before we go into a panic, before we allow the rest of the college football nation fan bases label us and diagnose us with PCSD, let's congratulate the GOAT for a job well done for so long. But let's slow down and not panic. When he was hired at the University of Alabama in the year 2007, at this point of his career, Coach Saban was a very successful college football coach. He never left any program that he was the head football coach of with a losing record. Toledo, Michigan State, LSU, all stops where he left with a winning record. Not only was Coach Saban just a winner wherever he went. Now, wait. Coach Saban never took over a winning program. I want y'all to understand one thing. Coach Saban did not take over a national championship contending Alabama roster. Let's put that in perspective. Let's turn the page to Kalen Deboer. Coach Kalen Deboer had great success on the NAIA level, 3 national championships, from Fresno to Washington, now to Alabama. His first head coaching job on the FBS level, Coach Kalen Deboer took a 4-8 Fresno State team. COVID year went 3-3 because the season got cut short. Turns around that following season, that team goes 10-3. They win their bowl game. And mind you, let's highlight some key wins during that time at Fresno State. 2 top 25 ranked teams, one being UCLA and the other being San Diego State. He gets hired by Washington. So in that quick overview of both coaches, you can understand when I say there's a similarity as far as these coaches being able to go to programs and turn around and create a winning atmosphere. Well, if we be honest, Coach Saban had not assembled his staff for that year. In the year of 2007, Coach Saban was still working with everything from what came before him. So we checked the first block with head coaches. Let's dive into the staff and take a look at the similarities that is happening with the coaching hires for Kalen Deboer and the similar moves that Coach Saban and the 2008 staff made when they became championship contenders. In 2008, Coach Saban promoted Kirby Smart to defensive coordinator, someone who had been working with him for a very long time, somebody that he was confident in as far as their development and their thinking and the way that they approach the game and the play calling aspect for the defense. So let's hop over on the other side for Kalen Deboer. Who does he bring along with him? Ryan Grubb, his offensive coordinator that's been with him since he's become a head coach. Fact check me on that. Don't care to go back and look at it. I just know the guy has been successful being an offensive coordinator under Kalen Deboer. He also brings in his offensive line coach. He also brings in his wide receiver coach, his tight end coach, and he retains the best offensive recruiter on the Alabama staff right now, which is Robert Gillespie, the running back coach. Now, let's flip it back to 2008. Coach Saban made some very monumental hires that ended up shaping the change and the evolution of Alabama football to become known as a powerhouse again, and for Coach Saban's legacy to be established to what it is today. He hired Jim McElwain, no previous play calling experience. He was a position coach up until this point. He had been at major universities, but he had never been a play caller at this level of college football. Now, back in that time, Jim McElwain was an up-and-coming offensive mind. He was not a proven play caller. Look at what Saban did. He secured his side of the ball where he specialized at and brought somebody along that can be a play caller that knew what he wanted. Fast forward to today. Kalen Deboer, he brings in Ryan Grubb, who can run his offense. Eyes closed, hands tied behind his back. He doesn't have to worry about what Ryan Grubb is doing, even though he's an offensive specialist at the head coach. Now, Kane Womack, this is a beautiful story. You go and you get a defensive coordinator, defensively minded, comes from a good defensive coach lineage. Nothing but defensive position coaching, either at the linebacker position or at the safety position, particularly the inside linebacker position. A spot that we all know over the past few years in Alabama's defense that definitely needs to see some major development improvement. This past season was probably the most success we've seen with our inside linebackers when we saw the likes of Jahad Campbell and Deontay Lawson on the field. You bring him in and you give him his first play calling job on the big stage, kind of similar to what Coach Saban did with Jim McElwain. Slow it down a little bit more. Coach Smook is not saying that just because of those similarities that this is set up to be a success. But if you have the GOAT in your back pocket and he's guiding you and telling you, hey, this is how I navigated around it, factor in that this is a new day and age. This is how I would approach it. If that's the guidance that they're receiving, I don't see any reason why we should worry. Coach Saban was able to get us to a national championship in year 3 of his tenure at Alabama. And we've seen what Coach Saban's legacy has become. Are we on the brink of Coach Saban helping another young and up-and-coming coach who he has spoken very highly of as far as an up-and-coming coach? Could we see Coach Saban trying to navigate this young man into taking the next step into being the next great coach at Alabama? Now, to close it out, I wanted to highlight one about Bo Davis being Coach Saban's defensive line coach, who was a great recruiter in the SEC during that time. Bo Davis had national championship experience by coaching with Coach Saban that 2003, I believe, that year that they won the national championship at LSU. So Coach Saban knew that he had to go and secure somebody that could get out and had a good, solid backing and recruiting. And Bo Davis was that guy. Kalen Deboer takes on the same mindset. And I really honestly believe retaining Freddie Roach was part of Coach Saban's guidance. You retain Freddie Roach on the defensive line. You keep him on that defensive staff. He's familiar with the system. He's familiar with the footprint. He's one of the top recruiters in the Southeastern Conference. You pair him up with Coach Gillespie, and you can kind of nullify the loss that you take with T-Rob, who is a great recruiter in the Southeastern Conference. You want to talk about a home run hire as far as setting a new tone? I think this staff that Coach Deboer is allowing Coach Saban to guide him, and this Greg Burns and the AD and the board of trustees and everybody that has some type of influence to really guide him and transition him into this SEC style of play, style of coaching, style of recruiting, just style of living as a head football coach in the SEC. So before we go unraveling and start trying to think the ship is sinking and that the dynasty is over, yes, Coach Saban's dynasty is over, but we may be on the brink of a new dynasty. I'm Coach Smook. If you like the video, please drop a thumbs up. Drop a subscribe if you're not a subscriber. You want to catch me live? I'll be live on Bama Football on YouTube. Go over there to that channel, subscribe, turn on your notifications, and every time you see a video posted or you see a live notification, you might see my face. Appreciate all the support. Shout out to everybody that's been supporting Alabama football. Welcome, Coach Deboer, and let's start this Debo era, baby. Roll Tide, and I'm out.